What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Target exclusive 2-pack Donatello and Krang. Here we do have Donnie and Krang in the packaging. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get these guys opened up, and then we'll have a better look at the figures inside. So stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have Donatello and Krang posing out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figures, let's take a look at what they come with. We'll first have a look at Donatello and get his accessories out of the way. Donatello does come with a few accessories. He does come with 2 pairs of hands. He comes with 2 grip hands, actually. He comes with a pair of grip hands that have a vertical hinge. And then he comes with a pair of grip hands that have a horizontal hinge, which is strange seeing as how he has both. Donatello also does come with his bow staff, which looks nice, and it can detach so you can put it on his arms, and then you can also store it on his back. Donatello's final accessories are the shell phone. We have a closed version, which looks really nice, and then we have an open version, so it looks like he's making a call. So Donatello does come with quite a few accessories. Strange that he comes with 2 versions of grip hands, but I'm not complaining. And now we have a look at Krang, who comes with the least amount of accessories. Krang does come with the little stand that he's on right now. And then he also does come with his mech suit, which we'll have a look at in its own little thing, and then I'll show you how to put it together. But other than that, Krang doesn't really come with anything, which is a little odd, because I would have liked to see the mech suit that Krang used in the animated series, but I guess his little chicken walker is good enough. So what we're going to do now is actually have a better look at the 2 figures. And so here we have a better look at Donatello, and just like with all the other turtles we've had a look at, I'm in love with this line. The animated series turtles are something I grew up watching, so having new articulated figures in my collection, I'm really stoked about. Having a look at Donatello here, same issue I have with Mikey. The mask is a little too light. I would have liked to see it more of this color, the shade that they use on the back of his bandana. I think that's more of a better representation of the purple Donatello uses, but it's still a nice color nonetheless. An interesting thing to note is that Donatello is the only turtle that has no teeth showing. His mouth is completely closed, which is the way you'd expect Donatello. He's the most, not angry out of the bunch, and he's the brains. So I really do like the fact that he has both sides closed. Having a look at Donnie here, you can see carries over that same shading that we have with the other turtles, where it's a dark green and then an even darker green in the back, so it looks like the light's hitting him from the front. We have some line work right here in his arms, which again, that really nice shade of green hitting the front, and then we have the back of the arm with that really deep green. It looks phenomenal, especially on camera. Line work is done really nice. I love how clean it is. It is a little sloppy right here because it doesn't go all the way, but it's still clean enough for me. More line work on his arm, which looks good. Just like with all the other turtles, his shell is two-tone. We have the base color right here. Then we have some shading going all around the perimeter of his shell, which, again, it's just so nice seeing it, and it does give the illusion that it's deeper than it actually is, so I enjoy that. We do have a little storage for his bow staff, and he's actually the first turtle that we look at that has storage for the bow. Unfortunately, it seems a little too low, and if we actually bring the bow staff in, you can see it's going to be really low on him. I want to say that's how it was in the cartoon, but I don't remember if he had like a scabbard for it or if it was just a little loop in his belt. But the belt is done really nice. The line work on it is clean enough. He has a D for Donatello. Going on to his legs. Again, probably the same complaint I have with all the turtles is that we have a lot of nice sculpt work right here in their thighs, but not a lot of line work in it, so that is a little disappointing. We have some line work right here on the side. Don't know why it's on the side and not on the front. In the front of his legs, we do have line work going into his knees. Line work on his knee pads, done in that same shade of purple, both in the front and the back. Calves have some really nice line work in them too. And then again, the feet that look like the frog. Never going to be able to unsee that now. But overall, really love Donatello, so what we're going to do is move on to Krang. And so here we have a better look at Krang, and I have to say, out of all 8 figures, he's probably the least articulated and the least, how's a good way to put this? There's not a lot of plastic on him, but that's not saying he's not full of detailing. Although I do feel like they didn't miss out because they only shaded the bottom of him, and you can see the circular base where his stand actually fits in. Now, I can't seem to get it to click in, but it does hold by friction. Like I said, I don't know how I'm able to do it because one side is always higher than the other. I'm pretty sure some hot water or hairdryer will fix that issue, but Krang here is probably the least detailed out of them, just because he's the smallest. I do like his eyes. Those purple eyes just peer out of the pink. And then we have some, it's almost brown, the shading that they used on him. The veins on him are also painted in that same brown. And he's just this brainy looking Krang creature. Of course, he is Emperor Krang. He's not just any old member of the Krang. But he's still a really nice figure. You can see they did paint his mouth, his tongue, his teeth. Everything about him is painted really cleanly, and we do get some line work on him. So overall, Krang here is a really nice figure, but he does come with one accessory, which we will have a look at right now. And so here we have Krang's walker, and I had to say this is probably the only thing that makes Krang look as appealing as he does. This actually does add some height to him. I love the plastic dome that they use on it. The original toy, if I remember, didn't have a dome on it. You just sat Krang in it, and that was the end of it. But you can see these 2 little holes right here, and I'll show you what those are for in a little bit. But a lot of nice detailing on his little chicken walker thing here. You can see some red paint here, all this little line work here. I'm going to guess that's like an air tank, some tubes going into the helmet. You can see there's some line work here. The pistons are nicely painted. They're not real pistons. It would have been cool if they were, but for the most part, they're done really well. You can see some of the rivets are also painted. We have a grill right here, probably to exhaust the hot air. The feet are done surprisingly well. And then you can see there are some metal studs in them, which provide articulation. Now, on the inside, it's also detailed. You can see some wires, some of those tubes coming through. It's not a lot of detailing, but it is something. So with that out of the way, let's actually show you how to assemble Krang in his little walker. So before we get Krang in the walker, let's actually go over his articulation really fast because it's really not much. He has ball joint right here in his little tentacle, so we do get full rotation there, full rotation here, and that's it. You can see it is on ball joints, double ball joints actually. Now the way you get him in the mech is that you do want to pull off his arms, which is fairly easy. You just set those aside, you open it up, and you just sit Krang inside it like this. Close the dome, so you're almost there. You get his little arms, peg those in, and then we have Krang in his little chicken walker. Now that he's fully assembled, let's actually get Donatello out here so we can get a few comparisons with other figures you may have in your collection. So here we have Donatello posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Donatello posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Donatello posed next to his GameStop exclusive movie counterpart Donatello. And finally, here we have Donatello posed next to the rest of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here we have Krang posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Krang posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Krang posed next to a NECA GameStop exclusive movie Donatello. And finally, here we have Krang posed next to the rest of the Foot Clan. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to their articulation. And let's actually have a look at Krang first, seeing as how he comes with the least amount of articulation. He can swivel inside the dome. The dome, of course, does have a hinge, so that does move up and down. His arms on a little ball joint, so they do move all the way around. They swivel, go, and you can pivot them side to side, but it's not a lot of movement. His legs do actually rotate all the way around. They do get hindered by the well, not the tentacles, but the tube lines right there. No swivel, but we do have a joint right here in the knee. It does go back and forward. And then we do have rotation right here at the feet. So not the most articulated figure, but it's everything you'd expect Krang to have, unless he had his bigger mech suit, which unfortunately they didn't give him. So let's actually move on to Donatello now. Donatello actually does have the same articulation as the rest of the turtles. He has a ball joint in the head. He can look up, down, tilt his head side to side for some attitude, turns left and right. Has a secondary ball hinge in the neck right there, so it gives him a little added movement. Arms on a ball joint go out to about that far. Donatello actually does go out the farthest from all the other turtles that I have. He goes all the way back to about here before it catches on the shell. Doesn't go back because of the shell. He does swivel at the bicep, single bend at the elbow, as well as swivel. He has a hinge in the wrist, which has a vertical hinge, so it moves up and down. And if you have the alternate hands, it has a horizontal hinge, so it moves in and out. Donatello does have a joint right here. I want to say it's a ball joint like all the other turtles, but again, because the shell doesn't have that much give, it's relatively useless and shouldn't even be there. Legs are on ball joints, so he does go forward about that far. Can't really go back because the shell in the back has zero give. Legs go out to the side all the way, so he does a splits fine. Rotation here at the thigh, no issues there. Double bend in the knee, good bend there. We also do have a ball joint in the foot, so it does pivot side to side, moves forward and back. So pretty good articulation here on Donatello, and it's what you'd expect of a turtle figure. So that's Krang and Donatello for you. So what we're going to do now is actually get them posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. So just a little tidbit for you guys still watching the review before we move on to my final thoughts. I did discover that the hands that he has aren't just clench hands with vertical hinges or horizontal hinges. They are actually the hands meant to hold Raphael's size. Donatello comes with Raphael's sai holding hands. Who would have ever thought that? I honestly didn't think that that was the case, but it's right here. So Donatello comes with Raphael's extra hands. So here we have the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello versus Krang posed for my final thoughts. Overall, I really love the way this set came out. Donatello isn't my favorite turtle, and Krang isn't really the most articulated villain that we've gotten, but this is still a really nice set, and Krang did have something like this back in the original toy release, so it really does bring back memories, and having Donatello here to complete the team, it's what more can I ask for, honestly. Now, I did make the discovery that his hands do belong to Raphael because they do hold the size in between the fingers perfectly. Why does Donatello come with Raphael's hands? I have no idea. He just does. But overall, I'm still happy with this set, and this set is going to run you about $51 at your local Targets. So if you are looking for the 2-pack Ninja Turtle figures, they are exclusive to Target, and they are hitting stores at the time I'm making these videos. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other NECA videos. Hopefully you find them informative. Check out my Instagram account for more figures and upcoming reviews, as I do post stuff there quicker than I do on YouTube. And as always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.